But isn't the psychology of sport fucking fascinating?
Unreal, yeah.
You know, like you go on a bit of a dip or you go on a bit of a run and...
Oh, yeah.
But like that, I was just going to say to you earlier, you've got these boys who've won everything, and I was going to say to you, does it really qualify? This is before the game even started, I was thinking, and whatever, we got chatting about something else and I forgot to mention it. When you've got to that level where you're used to competing and winning trophies and being top dog all the time, is it ever really a crisis? Or do these guys, even at that level, get to the stage where after 3 to 4 games where they're going, Jesus, goal goes in against them and the head is thinking, Christ, we're not going to lose again today. Well, you know,
but that's, I think it does.
Yeah, I think it does.
I think it starts to get you. Like, I'm 1 or 2 games, no, but when it gets to 3, 4, 5 games, it has to.
Yeah. Like, pre-pro, you're doing it for the love of it. You become a pro, there's the pressure of the crowd, the fans.
Jesus. Just over the bar.
Sorry, Benny, go on.
But I mean, there's the pressure from everyone. You know what I mean? Your teammates, the fans, the media. That pressure sets in that wasn't there before when you loved the game. Then it becomes, I'm fighting for my place. You know, now granted you have contracts and all of that, but
does the manager start panicking a small bit and yanks off a star man or two, thinking I have to change something here?
Yeah. Yeah, but no, I do think they care. I do think.
Oh no, I'm not saying that they don't care. It's just like it's an interesting point. Like it's an interesting point. Like the psychology of sport. Lads, even at that level, and you're thinking, "Fuck it, them boys never would sense crisis mode. They just get on with the game." But like, I suppose at some point you start.
Oh, sorry, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
everything is going against us here. Fucking, you know.
Yeah.
We're dominating games.
Like, where
and we're losing.
You see it most for me anyway. Where I see it most, you see psychology really come into play. As if you're watching a golf tournament and you're down to the back 9, and there's 2 or 3 fellas in it, and generally up until the Tiger Woods era, what happened was the fella. It wasn't that someone would go and win it. It was that if there was 3 fellas going for the win, still in contention with a few holes to go, 2 of them would fall away and one would just kind of hold it steady and he'd win. Tiger kind of changed all that, right? But that's ultimate psychology on the line. Like,
every
game you really see it. You probably don't see it as much in team sport, but it's still there.
No,
like it's still a huge part of it. Like,
well, it's definitely more so individual sports. Like if you listen to Ronnie O'Sullivan and the way he talked about, let's say he goes home and he puts aside 10 or 12 hours these days for training, whatever, and he says he has to set an alarm to stop. So if he missed a red or missed a black, whatever, at home training, he has to just walk away. Whereas previous, he was like, no, I have to stay here, I have to, you know, he keeps missing, and then he says his whole mind starts to change about him, his ability. Then he goes into the sitting room and he's like, fuck, what the fuck am I made of?
There are stats, I can't tell you what they are, but I know, like, for frame ball or match ball in snooker, they're missed way more often than any other ball.
Yeah.
Right?
You see Luke Littler on the last.
Match darts. Match darts, like set darts, match darts, leg darts. They're all missed far more often. Like
there, of course,
So, like, it does get in on the player, and it's no different in soccer or rugby or hurling.
It's a little bit different. You have the support, and you have places to hide to. You know, so it's. I
think O'Gara said it best. Do you ever hear that clip where he's talking about real pressure?
Yeah.
And it's fascinating, right? And he talks about real pressure kicking. And he said you might only get real pressure where you've a drop goal, a conversion, or a penalty to win a game.
Or a trophy.
Or a trophy or whatever. He said you'll be lucky, he said, if you can get it once or twice a year. He said some years you may get no kick with that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
So he said when it comes down to talking about clutch kickers, right? They might only get 10 chances in their career to prove they can fucking do it. Like. If you do it 1 a season on average, like for 10 seasons.
Yeah.
So he said, how can you... It took him a long time, he said, to get to the mindset that it's this kick that matters. And to be able to clear his mind and be able to go through his routine and be able to do all those things when it really counted.
Dan Carter, and I suppose the Dan Carter's... It's not his concept, or it's not his belief or whatever... is the red zone, what's it called? The red zone, blue zone, is a red zone, black zone, where he knows he's in this zone of these thoughts are coming through, you know, and then he slaps himself. He said, if you often see me taking these high pressure kicks, he slaps his leg to get out of that zone, to move into the black, I think it's the black zone or the blue zone, whatever it is anyway. So it's that mindset, it's the switch.
It's the same putting-wise with sports psychologists and the work they do with golfers and all that kind of stuff. Like it's It's managing those moments, like it's getting them to stay in the present rather than I'm going to win this or I'm going to lose this or I'm going to fucking.
How many times you see it in golf? The guy has the 3-footer to win the tournament, and it gets a dead straight putt. And this guy would knock these 50 times in a row if he, in practice or in a normal round, anywhere else in the round. But come that putt to win it, to win the trophy, the big check. And the hands are gone, the heart's probably busting.
Imagine.
Well, they reckon when Sergio Garcia won the Masters that he putted the back nine with his eyes closed. Genuinely.
Hang on a second.
He closed his eyes, he lined up his putt.
Manifestation, really.
Visualised the putt.
Visualization.
Closed his eyes and bang. Never opened his eyes for putting the back nine.
Jesus Christ. That's magic.
We'd have to check the footage. Be interesting to see, Doc. You'd see some lads who would, or some lads used to look away or something. Or I don't know. Some lads said,
or some looking at the hole, they're not looking at the ball, they're looking at the hole.
I've seen.
Well, Speed used to do that in the short puts.
Tis gas, like.
Yeah.
Everyone has their little whatever works, and then it works a few days, and then they tell themselves, right, I'm sticking with this for life.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But the best book to ever read, I think, for any of that is The Legacy. Is James Kerr's book on the All Blacks. So it's a fucking brilliant book.
Yeah.
That's the best book that covers all of that in one book. Dan Carter's book is kind of lots taken from it, obviously.
But anyone that's interested in sports psychology and performance and all that, there's another brilliant book which is by our man Bob Rotella, the golfer, and it's How Champions Think. And I got an audio book, and I was playing it in the car. The kids would be listening to it, and they were lapping it up. Like.
And
I sent it on to a few of the lads now involved in the hurling club for their kids, and just about mindset and what's required to actually be, to really excel at. And it doesn't matter what level you're at. Goal setting, all of that kind of stuff is in it. It's absolutely top class. Anyone into their sport or into performance, I'd highly recommend it.
For
Golf, whatever it is.
For team sports, definitely The Legacy, because it's about a kind of a connection between running a business and running a team.
But it's the same with Bob Rotella. He did a pile of work with college teams and whatnot, and there's team aspects, not just about golf. It's about everything.
Okay,
so he's gone into like high school basketball teams, college football teams, all that kind of stuff as well. So it's really interesting now. You'll love it, I'd say.
Yeah, sure, the pressure these boys. Well, look, you'd like to think that they're under pressure, these boys, every day they go out,
Well, the other side of it too is you're under pressure, but you're still picking up that 200 grand a week. It's so late.
375 grand a week if you're Marcus Rashford and you're under no pressure whatsoever. You haven't kicked the ball in 18 months.
You're
and you're still starting every week.